Hi, everybody. Hello to the Nerdfest UK guys. I wanted to tell you a story about Vincent Price and the Tingler. And thank you so much for bringing this memory up in my head. And well, I guess we've got to go into noir mode to tell this story. So, by way of background, if you've ever seen The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, there's this idea of bungalow colonies where people from New York City would go up from the summer. Now, Mrs. Maisel's bungalow colony was really upper end. In this particular bungalow colony, there were mostly Jewish folks. It was a way for folks who were immigrants who became successful to get out of the city for the summer because there wasn't a lot of air conditioning, etc. Well, now imagine the marvelous Mrs. Maisel about 15 to 20 years later, only really much lower class and lower end. By this time, when my family went up to the bungalow colonies, the way it worked was it was a real mixture of Jews, Italians, Puerto Ricans, Irish. It was a real blend. And our bungalow colony, instead of those luscious rooms that they had, imagine about a 15 by 20-foot room. And that included the kitchen, the bedrooms for the children and the parents, and the bathroom. The bathroom was like a little shower room with literally a little packing crate on the bottom so your feet didn't touch the disgusting mold that was at the bottom. And Dad would, much like in Mrs. Maisel, he would work during the week in the city and come up on the weekends. There was also a day camp and a night camp for the kids. And so on Friday nights before Dad got home, Mom and all of the ladies would be playing cards, pinochle. They would be playing poker. They'd even be playing mahjong, which is a whole other interesting story about how mahjong, a version of it, went from the Chinese moms to the Jewish and Italian and Puerto Rican moms, and they would play mahjong together in the evening. But that's another story. So on one of these Friday nights, down in the camp building, which also had a little bit of a stage where they could put up a movie screen. And by the way, that was my first theater experience at age 5, both on the stage and in front of it. They would show movies. And one summer, while I was being booted away from the moms with all the other kids to watch the movie, it was actually Vincent Price in The Tingler. Now, if you haven't seen The Tingler, and I haven't seen it since I'm 5, here's the basic story. Essentially, the conceit is that when humans get scared, really scared, this lobster-like thing forms on your spine. And this evil scientist wanted to prove that it was there and actually extract one from a body and study it and maybe do some nefarious things with it. So this is super politically incorrect, but so what they did was they found this poor, young, beautiful, deaf, mute woman, so she couldn't scream. So they set up this scenario where they scared the hell out of this young woman, and the tingler formed on her spine, and they killed her, and they got the tingler off the back of her spine. Now, we were watching a 16 millimeter copy of this, and there were no buzzers under our seats, but just like in the Nerdfest podcast, Vincent Price comes and talks to the screen and says, the Tingler is loose in the theater. And there's supposed to be buzzers under the seats, but these were folding chairs with homemade popcorn with a 16 millimeter film. Well, all of the counselors decided to scare the hell out of the kids. And mind you, we're from 4 years to 18 years old. So they ran around the theater in the camp building, screaming, the Tingler's here, the Tingler's here. And I even think one of them threw a rubber lobster out into the audience, which was being thrown around. Well, mind you, I was 5 years old and I had the piss scared out of me. So I ran out of that building. I ran all the way up about 900 yards to my mom's, outside with my mom where they were playing pinochle and mahjong, and I absolutely refused to leave my mother's leg for the rest of the night and until my dad came home. And mind you, I remember this story. I've never seen this movie since I'm 5 years old, but I remember it happening since that time, so many years ago. So thanks, John and team at the Nerdfest UK podcast for bringing up that memory. And if anyone wants to dig up that movie and do a virtual screening, I think it's about time at this age that I can revisit that movie and watch it. So thanks for the memory, guys, and have a wonderful week and be safe. Thank you.